Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's been a long day, and I will try to do my caucus justice and the soon-to-be front rows justice as I speak today about this very personal and difficult topic. See, it's difficult because it is at the core of our belief system. For many of us, it's our moral compass, and so it's a topic that sparks passion, it sparks outrage, it sparks judgment and indignation. And we wonder why. Why does it do that? Well, because for many of us, this is personal. We have either gone through this ourselves, or we've held someone's hand that has gone through it, or even yet, it's personal because I, as a woman, can completely empathize with another woman. Our bodies are up for debate constantly, not just in the press, not just at family reunions, but in these chambers. As women, we are judged on how we dress, on how we speak, how we carry ourselves, and as I know very well, we are judged on how we fight. And this reality of this judgment that we as women carry is sadly something that we learn at a very young age. We hear personal anecdotes, and we've heard them these last 2 days, and I want to share a couple. This past November, I visited El Salvador on a fact-finding mission on what the intended consequences, but more importantly, what the unintended consequences are of a total ban on termination of pregnancies looks like. It was on this trip to the National Hospital where I was faced with the cruel and harsh reality of a 10-year-old that had just given birth. A 10-year-old. The baby did not survive. And by baby, I mean the newborn. See, because the 10-year-old is also a baby. A baby that because of the physical trauma that this pregnancy took on her body and everything she went through, she may not be able to carry a child in the future because a 10-year-old's body is not designed to carry a child. It is a young life forever changed, and not just because of the pregnancy, but also because it was a result of rape and incest. It is in this chamber by what I do believe to be the most compassionate of our colleagues that we were told that this victim of rape or incest should be in front of a judge. That the best place for her to deal with the trauma and to deal with this difficult situation is a courtroom. And that the best person to help this baby through this process is a judge. No, the best place for her is with people that want to protect her, hold her hand, and tell her it's going to be okay. And that is our role as parents. Our role is not to dictate the lives or dictate the future of our children. We may wish we could, but we can't. Our role is to guide them and teach them, and then hope. Hope that they will listen, hope they will avoid some of our very own pitfalls. You all know this because I don't stop talking about him, but I am a mother of a beautiful, kind, and smart 4-year-old. It is my greatest blessing. I don't have a daughter, I have a son. He will not have to worry about his body being regulated and debated within a chamber. However, as his mother, it is my role to guide him and teach him about personal space, respecting others, especially women, and that his choices will also have consequences. And my main role that I take very seriously is to assure him that everything is going to be okay and that I will be by his side. But that is no guarantee that he will turn to me. So what I hope is that he will turn to his father, to his uncles. I baptized my son in my local Catholic church that I grew up in. And I chose a godfather and a godmother for my son so that they could help me along this process. Because parenting, as many of you know, is not easy. We all need help, and we need a village. It was 5 years ago this week that I saw 2 pink lines on a pregnancy test. I was 37, a 2-time college grad, my own apartment, in a safe and loving long-term relationship. I was 37, and I was terrified. Do I get it right? Am I ready? Will the baby be healthy? Can I provide for him? What should I eat? Is the apartment big enough? What kind of crib? I was 37. It took 4 months for it to settle in. That is difficult to say out loud. See, because when you see the 2 pink lines, everyone wants you to start planning your baby shower, and everyone wants you to start revealing the gender on social media. But it took me 4 months for it to settle in. And I do the very best that I can. And I don't always get it right. Because being a parent is a blessing. It is the greatest of my life. But to imply or insinuate that as a parent, my rights are dictated in the Constitution, or that my rights outweigh my son's needs and choices, is just arrogance. How dare I believe that my ego comes before my child's choices? He will make mistakes. He will not do everything I tell him to. He, him, his, boy, young man, words that have barely been spoken the last 2 days in this chamber. No mention of the man's role in this pregnancy, because apparently us women do it all. She is responsible all by herself. She shall have to carry a baby or the weight of a termination. It is her that must face a judge. It is her that we are debating. A room full of 84 men that shortly will press a button that regulates all responsibility to a young woman, either in favor or against, but yet still say that she doesn't know what's best for her, her body, and her future. Representative Beltran, it's not because you're a lawyer, it's because you're a man. We are telling women, girls, young people that judges know better, legislators know better, or that we as parents know better. But parents only know better when they agree with the bill sponsor. I asked, what if the young woman wants to keep the pregnancy, but the parents don't? Emancipation was the answer. So in this case, the young woman is responsible enough to make her choice. I have shared some of my stories out of respect for this chamber and for the colleagues I serve with. We hear personal stories, stories of pain and trauma. We will probably shortly hear another. Trauma of a 15-year-old girl who felt scared, alone, and desperate. My heart, although they may not believe it, goes out to her now and to when she was a 15-year-old. Because my heart and vote needs to remember how terrified I was when those 2 pink lines appeared. I can only imagine how terrified she was. Which is why with this bill, we must not alienate or push these young women to unsafe options. They have a right to a safe, clean medical procedure, because nobody should have to feel alone or unsupported. I ask that you vote for all of those terrified young women. I ask that you vote for the 15-year-olds and the 16-year-olds and the 10-year-olds, etc. Lastly today, I wear these earrings from El Salvador. Earrings made by the survivors of rape and incest and even worse, government intrusion. It is for all the young women that do not feel seen, heard, or supported, to the women that volunteer their time to fight for all of those women. We will not win this vote, but we will not stop fighting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.